ES Audio.
Hello, I'm Mark Blunden and this is the Evening Standard's Tech and Science Daily. Coming up, Candy Crush 10-year anniversary with the president of King. But first, with Black Friday nearly upon us, bargain hunters are being warned of online scams with young people aged between 19 and 25 years old most at risk. National Fraud Intelligence Bureau data reveals shoppers lost over £15 million during the festive period last year, with the average loss being £1,000. One shopper lost more than £150 trying to buy a mobile phone via social media, and another was conned out of £7,000 doing a rogue online campervan deal. Shoppers are also being advised to research online retailers by checking feedback and consumer websites to pay securely with credit cards if possible. Next, where is Sam Bankman-Fried, the boss of troubled cryptocurrency exchange FTX? Twitter has been speculating that he's fled to Argentina, but when quizzed by journalists on this, 30-year-old Bankman-Fried replied in a text message, nope, saying he's in the Bahamas. On Friday, FTX filed for bankruptcy after the souring of an acquisition by Binance, which walked away from the deal. It comes after at least £1 billion worth of customers' crypto cash disappeared from the platform. Now, it's the addictive smartphone game Fave, which is worth billions. Candy Crush Saga is celebrating its 10th anniversary, and Tech and Science Daily caught up with the president of King Games, Tjodolf Sommestad.
When we launched Candy Crush 10 years ago, we had a simple game with 65 levels to play through, and level 65 was very, very hard at the time because we were still working on how to add more levels at a high frequency. We now have more than 12,000 levels in this game.
Sommestad went on to talk about the importance of faster phone connections.
The connectivity is actually a big one. So we ship new levels and new content and new events to the game without even requiring the user to update the app. The graphics is richer, which allows us to present even more like explosions and animations. We've tapped into technology that's called haptic feedback. The phone now can shake a bit.
And how they're keeping an eye on what augmented reality technology their fans are using.
There's been like an emergence of that with apps like Snapchat. Who knows what might happen in the future. Like we're always on the lookout for technology that our players are starting to get familiar with.
Owners of electric cars could soon start paying road tax under plans being drawn up by British Chancellor Jeremy Hunt. Right now, people with EVs don't pay excise duty, which has encouraged some to swap from petrol and diesel motors. But Hunt is expected to announce a change to that in this week's autumn budget statement as he tries to find £54 billion in savings. The Standard's been looking at the future of electric vehicles with a summit being held in London next week. And you can find out more details at standard.co.uk/plug-it-in. To COP27, where there are concerns about reaching agreement to limit global temperatures to 1.5 degrees C. There are worries that common ground can be found in the Egyptian resort of Sharm el-Sheikh to hit the target, with delegates reportedly worried about softening of focus to find an agreement. Now there's a race to the end of the week as negotiators try to slow climate change and ensure global heating is kept to 1.5 degrees C by the year 2100. It comes after last year's summit in Glasgow, where every country attending agreed to keep pushing towards the 1.5 degrees C goal. Let's go to the ads. Coming up, could a robot squid help clear the cosmos of space junk? Why not hit rate and follow in the meantime? Welcome back. What's being described as a gigantic robot litter picker could soon be deployed to help clear up space junk, and it's made here in Britain. It's one of two designs competing for a contract to help get rid of some of the dangerous debris floating around the cosmos. The firm called ClearSpace has designed the spacecraft to look like it has tentacles that can stretch out to reach and grab old satellites before they become more of a collision risk, and then it flings them into the atmosphere to burn up. The Diabetes Research and Wellness Foundation is reporting what it describes as life-changing results from its treatment centre in Oxford. work at the Human Islet Isolation Facility at the Churchill Hospital, which harvests insulin-producing islet cells from donor pancreas for research and transplants, is being showcased as part of World Diabetes Day 2022.
There is a relatively small cohort of people with type 1 diabetes for whom the usual methods of stabilising blood glucose levels just doesn't work.
That's Charity Chief Executive Sarah Tutton.
So an islet transplant is a possible treatment to improve their quality of life.
To mark the event, the Diabetes Research and Wellness Foundation announced that 346 islet transplants have been made in 201 British patients in the last 14 years. And here's transplant patient Anne Adair.
It took a lot of hard work because you've got to look after these islets. You can't just carry on eating all sorts of different things. So I did really work hard to make sure I'd never stress them. You didn't want your glucose levels going above 8, so you had to really work hard to keep it like that so that the islets could settle in your liver.
And finally, the long arm of the law has caught up with a police officer who had his badge revoked after being caught on camera attempting to shortchange a shop out of Pokemon cards worth nearly £400. William Knight was still wearing his uniform when a store detective spotted him trying to switch barcodes with cheaper items and then stick them onto the collectibles cards, and that happened in Kansas. After he was rumbled, Knight reportedly pretended to take a phone call, left the store, but the long arm of his own law caught up with him. Police chiefs found that he was unfit to serve and revoked his licence. You're up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for The Leader from the Evening Standard here in London. Tech and Science Daily is back on Tuesday at 1 p.m. See you then.